Talk. Light Talk. Lumen Brothers. Light Talk.
Hey, this is Steve in Dallas, Texas. It's Wednesday morning, my friend, and you are listening to Light Talk.
And this is Ellen, hard at work on the tropical island of St. Bart's, and you are listening to Light Talk.
And this is David coming to you from the absolutely stunning Belmont Shore neighborhood of Long Beach, California. And if you don't already know, you are listening to Light Talk, and we are the Lumen Brothers
And Sister.
That's right, Ellen. Welcome, everyone, to episode 485.
Wow.
On our way to 486.
I'm
right.
impressed.
So, do you guys know what day it is?
It's your birthday.
That's right.
Happy birthday to you.
You can go to TGI Fridays tonight and get a free dessert.
Lori and I have this whole figured out. We're going to Starbucks to get a free coffee. And then we're
Okay.
going to go to the Tea Leaf and whatever that place is called, get a free coffee. And then we're going to go somewhere else and get something for free.
And there's also a lot of places that give senior citizen discounts.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole list of them.
Stand in
Okay.
there and demand your discount.
I'm getting a terrific senior citizens discount on a movie ticket.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm entering an actual movie theater this week. We were watching Jon Stewart last night, and he had Christopher Nolan on, who is just releasing this amazing movie of The Odyssey. Should be very interesting. And he said the whole thing was filmed, the whole movie, every camera shot in IMAX.
Wow.
So the weird thing is that these IMAX cameras, you can only run them for 3 minutes until you have to change the cartridge in them. So every scene, they had to cut at 3 minutes and then take it up again. That's how they filmed the whole
So
damn
none
movie.
of those long 1 hour tracking shots like in The Adolescents.
No, there's no runners. I mean, it sounds really old-fashioned. I thought everything would be done digitally, and there wasn't a problem, but they were really specific about this. So anyway, I wanted to see this because, it's the Trojan War, it's the Trojan horse, it's the Cyclops. You remember all that stuff. It was great from Greek mythology. It comes out tomorrow, and so I've got tickets to see the IMAX, which is pretty impressive.
And you got a
So
senior discount on
got
the
a
tickets.
senior discount from $28 to $25. Boy.
Wow. It costs $28 to go to the movies?
Yeah, IMAX. These IMAX films are ridiculous.
Wow.
Now, were you required to provide identification?
No. But all they have to do is look at me.
Oh, come
They'll
on.
know
It could be your birthday every day for the rest of the year. Free coffee all year long.
No, it was senior citizen. It wasn't
Yeah,
birthday.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about that.
How about
So-
that picture of Mitch McConnell, speaking of senior citizens?
Oh, my
and
God.
everybody says it's not true. It's an AI generated, that he hasn't looked like that in 10 years.
I don't know. I mean, I saw a report on that, and the AI guy said it would be really hard to fake the reflection of light in his wife's eyes. And it'd be really hard to fake the sunlight on the way it was interacting with the sheets. So there was one AI guy who said, "No, he's alive. He's fine."
Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Anyway, okay.
Dennis isn't with us today. As a matter of fact, he's missing. We have no idea where he is. So
He's on his yacht. He's sailing down to the
Oh.
Panama Canal.
He's probably on his yacht. You're right.
He's on his way to the Faroe Islands to meet our listeners out there.
Also, 3 of them. We have 3 listeners on the Faroe
God,
Islands.
maybe he's sailing down here to St. Bart's. I could see
Yeah,
him tomorrow.
he's gonna come past you.
That'd be
God.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
wow.
Sit
that.
down the beach and wave. Throw an octopus at him.
Yeah, okay.
Throw an octopus.
A frozen
I
one.
like
He
that.
can defrost it for dinner.
There you go.
Yum.
Okay. So we're going to press on, and we have a regular show for you today. And today's my birthday, so as we mentioned
Happy.
before, so we're going to have some time for cake at the end of the show. So
Right.
you can join us if you're in the Belmont Shore area of Long Beach, California.
If you have a cake in the car that says David on it.
That's right. That's right.
It's melting in the sun, however.
And Lori gave me her birthday present last night. So that was very nice. So we can thank Lori because I'm in a good mood right today.
Oh, I see.
Okay, well, let's get started. Ellen has the first question of the day.
I do. Alan from San Diego has asked us, do you use Pre-Viz in your lighting design process? If so, which programs? And do you teach it to your students? So since you are my academic brothers, I pass the microphone to you.
Sure. What we do is we are big fans of capture, but where we really put our energy, I think, is in vision. And all of our students who are in lighting leave the program understanding how to use vision.
Which is a program by?
Vectorworks.
Yeah, okay.
So since they're already working in Vectorworks, it's kind of a seamless move right into vision.
It used to be ESP Vision.
Right.
ESP was the company, and they were out here, and they did a partnership with Vectorworks, and now I don't know corporately what the mix is, but yeah, you get it with Vectorworks.
And I think is in regards to projects, if the project requires it, and I have a pretty tight schedule in the theater, and the size of the project requires it, then sure, pre-visualization is a great thing. But I'm not the biggest pre-visualization user out there in the world because I'm not doing those types of projects where I'm doing the halftime show or Trans-Siberian. But
Right.
It takes some time to do Pre-Viz. I saw an interesting thing a couple of days ago, and someone was talking about it was very rewarding to spend 6 months in a dark room pre-vising everything than to see it on stage. I don't know. I'm not sure if I would feel that way. I think I like to work live. I mean, it takes a long time to pre-vis stuff, but if it's the right project, there's no way to get around it.
Right. I think on certain projects, there's just not enough time in the theater to do it live, and you have to show up with it ready to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what happened with me when I was doing a show at the Royal Opera House. Because there's so much happening in that theater, because you have the Royal Ballet, you've got the opera, and then you've got rehearsals, like tech rehearsals and dress rehearsals of the shows coming up in production, and it's pretty much year-round. They have very little stage time. So even in a place like that for an opera, that show was 90% pre-vised.
Right.
We were upstairs in a studio with a lighting console and the programmer and me, and
what program were you using for the
I
Pre-Viz?
believe it was Vision at the time. That was about, it was about 15 years ago.
Because I remember they were really on the cutting edge of Pre-Viz in the opera world. And at one point, they had a suite called Maya that they were using.
Oh, yeah. Well, Maya was around for a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was Vision. I may be wrong.
Okay.
I really wasn't that into it because I didn't grow up using it. And in the shows that I was doing, I didn't, at the time when I was, first started my career, we were just doing regular tech rehearsals and lighting the damn thing. And we didn't have a lot of memory either. So to do that type of things, that type of technology was really beyond us. But yeah, as things moved on, the more and more of Pre-Viz going on. And I see where it's really helpful when you're doing some very complex things. And a lot of the students, when I was teaching there, we were teaching Pre-Viz. We were teaching Vision because when Vision first came out, before Vectorworks, was a partner, they basically were just starting. So we made a deal with them, and they gave us all the software, and it was great. And of course, Pre-Viz can be very elaborate or can be very simple. I mean, even just set up basic, simple focus palettes is important because, especially with moving lights, if you can figure that out and have that done, then it's just a matter of plugging into your light board and then just updating those focus palettes and then saving it, and it will track through whenever that palette's used. Those presets, I should say presets. Some people call palettes, some people call presets.
Right.
So that's pretty much the way I used it. And it's great. I mean, it's fun to do. And in some cases, it's really necessary.
In addition to vision, what are the other leading Pre-Viz programs out there? And have you seen what David Perkins is doing with carbon?
Well, I guess the granddaddy out there would be WYSIWYG. But I think what's happened is software has become much more affordable also. So, I mean, back in the day, these programs were quite expensive to buy if you were a student.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Pre-Viz is what's amazing to me is just a kind of a cursory look at Facebook, and you see all of these high school students who are Pre-Vizing their favorite, Led Zeppelin song now. It's really mainstream, and they're coming in.
That is funny.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these people are teaching themselves, and they're coming in quite sophisticated by the time they get to college on both programming and in CAD and in pre-visualization.
Well, even like 10, 15 years ago when Hog Factor started, all that stuff was done with, a lot of it was pre-vized.
It was all pre-vized. That was the whole first part of the process, was to do the work, and then they selected from the pre-viz stuff. And you pre-viz the entry that you were going to do in Las Vegas.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And well, our friend David Perkins has this carbon program, and I think he'd be an interesting guest for us to have down the road. So
Yeah, sounds great.
between now and LDI, we could get him to come talk about how he runs it, I think, on Unreal Engine. So it's like a gaming platform that a lot of people are using. So it's pretty sophisticated.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Roxanne from Parts Unknown asks, I am a tenure-track professor and have taught lighting design at a state university for 5 years. I have been able to continue to develop an active professional lighting design career. I feel very satisfied teaching my 3 lighting classes and working with my graduate and undergraduate students. Recent political developments have caused our latest department chair to step down, and there is a strong movement among my colleagues for me to take over as chair of the department. I know that David and Steve both have long careers in academia. My question is, should I do this? I'm going to have a very short answer. No.
You just get bogged down in paperwork, right?
For several reasons. Listen, I told Lori this question earlier, and she said, there was a question like that, like 6 years ago or something like that. And she said, and you talked a lot about the paperwork, and all that. And I said, I don't remember. Maybe it was a question, but this is a lot more interesting because this is a young person who doesn't have tenure yet. She said she's tenure track, right? So we know she's not had tenure yet. She is developing a professional career, and she loves teaching. And she's teaching 3 classes. There are a lot of hints here. And there's also another hint, Steve. You know what that other hint is?
I have no idea.
The politics. There's a very political situation here. And it's forcing the previous chair to leave, okay? Here's the reasons why I say absolutely not. Okay, first of all, when you come on as an untenured member, you're going to be not protected. Totally not protected of any decisions you make. And you're going to have to make some very important decisions. And those decisions are probably going to piss off some people. So chances are, after a year or two, after your chair, you've made some enemies, right? And that may, or probably, in my view, will cause problems when your tenure comes around, which is going to be in 2 years. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that if you love teaching, then you can forget about these 3 classes because you're going to be so busy, they're going to take at least 1, maybe even 2 of them away. This is the way it works in most departments. When you're chair, you teach 1 class, and then you deal with paperwork, putting out fires, trying not to piss people off, trying not to piss the student. I mean, the whole bit. Dealing with administration was a whole nother thing. It's the furthest away from teaching that you can get, because you're going to miss it terribly. You just are. And I've known a lot of chairs in my career who they have the same complaint every time. I want to get back in the classroom. Right? And I unfortunately don't have time because I'm in all these stupid meetings. Okay, so that's the second thing, okay? Developing an active professional life. That means that you probably have to take leaves every now and then and find a sub to take care of you. Well, let me tell you something. You may be able to find a sub for your teaching, but you're not going to find a sub for all the administrative stuff that you're going to have to deal with. And that is the fact. All right, so those are the three main issues. You're going to lose opportunities professionally, which is going to cause you to not develop as an artist as well as if you were continuing your life. If you're teaching graduate students, I'm hoping that you're taking some of these students with you to these professional gigs, because that's where they really learn how to do this, okay, and deal with the profession. And there's going to be less opportunity for that. So you're already failing as a teacher if you take this job, okay? And it's not your fault. It's just that that's the demand of the job. And the whole thing about not being tenured and making enemies and all that and not getting tenure and promoted, okay? So there's only one way I would do this, and that is that you figure out a way that, A, you get tenure before you take this job, and some universities will do this. So I will take this job if you give me tenure right now. You could judge me right now on my tenure, right? But I'm not going to do it without tenure. I wouldn't go near this without tenure. I was asked about 5 times over my career to be chair. The first time I was untenured, and I demanded I get tenure, and they said no. I said, fine, thank you. Thank you so much. I think I would go back to teaching. And I did. It was the same sort of situation, but I just said absolutely not. All right. I've seen professors who are untenured take a chair position and not get tenure in 2 or 3 years. Also, teaching is a lovely thing. It's a wonderful thing. I love teaching, but why put up with all the BS? Okay. So that's the other thing. And then the third thing that I would demand, absolutely, is that they allow you to continue your professional career, because I assume that you're in your late 20s, early 30s. And if you suddenly disappear because you can't take gigs, then you can just kiss all that goodbye.
I have another question, too. Talk about the political side of this. Where are all the other people who are tenured, and why aren't they taking this job?
That's right, because they don't want it.
Right.
That's why they don't want to do it. It doesn't pay enough. It really doesn't. They once offered me a position, a chair, and I was already tenured and all that, but I was working a lot. And I basically asked them, I said, okay, how much of a raise are you going to give me? And they said, we'll give you a $10,000 raise. I said, but
Right.
you have to work 12 months out of the year. You don't work 9 months out of the year. So all of a sudden I'm losing money.
Right.
And boy, I have all these gigs coming up over the next year or two. Do I have to get rid of them? Yes, you cannot take those gigs. So that's like another $80,000 that I'm losing out on.
Right.
Plus the momentum of your career. It's not worth it. Now, Steve, I know you have served as chair before. All right. And I'm really curious to hear your opinion and how you would answer Roxanne.
I would say, if we're just going down the list, demand tenure and promotion as part of the move. Then now, consider your pay raise. You're probably going to get 5 to 8K. That's nothing. It seems like a lot, but it's nothing for what you're giving up. And I would urge your department to do a national search, because nothing's going to get better, no matter how many people they promote from within. If there is some kind of weird kind of struggle going on, you need some fresh eyes to look at it. Ask yourself right now: do you like going to fundraisers? Do you want to go to every event? Do you want to go to all the acting auditions? Do you want to go to every showcase that's being done? Do you now want to be that person who goes to all the theater activities in your community to wave the banner? Do you want to eat, live, and breathe theater 24 hours a day, 8 days a week, 12 months a year? A dean once told me, and I thought this was the best advice I had ever gotten. And he said, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you're going to have a little power. Well, let me tell you right now, you have zero power. And I can see by your expression that offended you. Let me be clear. I have zero power. You're going to answer to me, and I'm going to answer to a vice president. And he says, and neither one of us at the end of the day have any real power to make change or do stuff. I think what's going to happen is you're going to become chair, and on your first day, you're going to be sitting in your office, and someone's going to walk in and say, I'm not happy with my parking space. And if that's what you want to deal with the rest of your life, they're not going to ask you to rewrite the curriculum and bring order to the academic world and let's plan on an equity theater company, all the fun, cool stuff that you think is going to happen. No, it's going to be, can I work 3 days a week on campus and 2 days a week from my home? It's nothing. No, don't do it. Run away. But you should still ask for promotion and tenure and say, let me think about this.
Yes. Yeah, do that, right? And get it, and then quit after a month. Say, I have a nervous breakdown, quote unquote, right? And then say, I can't do this anymore. Thank you for tenure and promotion.
I think if you are at the beginning of your career, I think it would probably be a mistake to go into administration 5 years into your career for everything that David just said. I mean, if you want to be a dean or a vice president or a provost someday, then go for it. But boy, no, I don't want to be thrown in that briar patch.
Well, I'm glad that Roxanne asked you because she's not going to do it after this.
Good.
Well, no, she's going to demand tenure and promotion and ask for a $20,000 raise. And she wants all the power she can possibly get at a contract signed in blood. Which that's the other thing. When they do this, you get a contract that everything is in writing, what you do and what you don't do. You're very specific about this.
I wouldn't do it. Yes, what really got me is when you wrote down, I love teaching. Okay, and I love teaching my students because it's no longer just about the students. It's so much of it then is about budgets, and it all affects the students. Don't get me wrong, I do understand that. But there's nothing like teaching a student, one-on-one. And especially as a designer, when you're in the theater with the student and that student is trying new things and they're asking for feedback, how many nights are you going to be able to spend in the theater with the student when you have all this other work to do as well and reports to write and all that other bullshit?
You'll become chair and there'll be no more drunken tattoo nights at LDI. No more recruiting trips to SETC.
Right.
There'll be other people will be doing that.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Now, I have a side question, Steve. You served as chair at one time, right?
Only of the division, only of my division, not as department chair.
Oh, okay. So you're head of, and I was head of the program too. But you didn't have to give up any classes because of that, right?
No, but it's typically you have a point. It's a 3-3 teaching load, and I would think the chair, unless you just insist on teaching your teaching load, you're going to go down to one class.
Right, one class.
Because you're just too busy to do anything else.
So my question is, and I've seen this around the nation, is that a lot of times they look at the lighting designer first to be a chair. And why do you think that is? Because I was asked like 5 or 6 times from different universities to do it. And I know that we all know people who are chairs of their departments who are lighting designers. So my question is, why do you think it's the lighting designers they go after?
I think it's organization. I think we're organized, not better, but we're organized in a different way from costume designers and set designers.
Yep.
Also, we're a little bit easier to pivot.
Yep.
And probably we have more time on our hands too. God, the set designer works for years trying to get a set done. The costume designer is, up to their elbows in costumes. So probably we are also the only one who has time to do it. The set designer and the costume designer are too valuable to put them as chair.
We also have experience, and we're trained and have experience in crisis management and solving problems quickly and efficiently. That's why I think it has, and your points are absolutely correct as well. So anyway, don't do it, Roxanne. All right, then do us a favor, write back and tell us what you decide. Okay, we're not going to be mad at you if you decide to do this. We just hope that you take our advice and you protect yourself. And before you do, and it's all in writing, as Steve said.
The other side of this too is a lot of schools have kind of rotating chair positions.
That's true.
If you're signing up for a 3-year stint as chair, that's something different. That might be nice to get your promotion tenure, and you're doing 3 years in purgatory there,
Yeah.
deciding if you like administration, you may love it.
Yeah.
So this gives you a chance to touch the waters, and the worst case scenario, you're sidelined for a couple years in your professional career.
Yeah, you're going to have to figure that out. Only you know where you are in your profession. But that's a great suggestion. If they give you tenure right away and promotion, say, I'll commit for 3 years, but that's it.
I mean, you're 5 years into it. I mean, most people go for tenure in their 5th or 6th year already.
Pretty much.
So it's not like you've been there for 3 years would be kind of shaky. But 5 years, I think they would throw you a promotion.
Yeah, they may do that. You're right, Steve. They may do that. Okay, well, you are listening to Light Talk with the Lumen Brothers and Sister. And today, Light Talk is sponsored by...
Hey, it's a public service announcement from No More, 10 out of 12. Speaking to your set designer. Sooner or later, usually at First Tech, every lighting designer will find themselves speaking to the set designer for the first time. Remain calm. Do not make sudden requests and avoid direct eye contact. Follow these guidelines carefully. Failure to do so may result in delays, budget meetings, or finding your follow spot platform mysteriously blocked by a curtain. Rule number 1. Speak in units of plywood, paint samples, and impossible deadlines. What happens? You will get a 45-minute explanation of lumber prices that somehow ends with, "This is why we can't have nice things." Rule 2. Open every conversation with, "Can we make it look more expensive without spending another dollar?" What happens? Your set designer will laugh, not because it's funny, because they've heard it from every director since 1987. Rule number 3. At the production meetings, quietly suggest, "What if the wall moved?" What happens? The wall will move, just not the way you imagined, and somehow 2 lighting booms will disappear from the plot. Rule 4. You forgot to provide coffee and donuts before giving your scenic notes. What happens? Your notes will be filed under after strike. Rule 5. Never say it's a simple change. What happens? 3 carpenters, 2 stagehands, and the technical director will slowly turn and stare at you. Rule 6. Ask, "Can we finish the build by tomorrow morning?" What happens? You will witness the 1,000-yard stare of someone reliving 5 straight 16-hour days while wondering if any judge and jury would convict him. Rule 7. Never casually suggest adding casters. What happens? You will receive an unsolicited seminar on center of gravity, weight distribution, OSHA, and why a rolling staircase is an engineering crime. Rule 8. Never say, "It is probably lighter than it looks." What happens? Congratulations, you're loading the truck. Rule 9. Avoid saying, "Can we just?" There is no just. What happens? You'll hear about drafting, purchasing, welding, painting, rigging, loading, rehearsing, repainting, repairing, and explaining to the director why gravity remains undefeated. The lecture ends with, "Not a problem. How much money do you have left in your budget?" And Rule 10. Point at the stage and ask, "Can you make this more magical?" What happens? Somehow they will. It will take 6 gallons of paint, 3 all-nighters, 2 emergency hardware store runs, and 1 person asking, "Why didn't we just do this from the start?" Final warning. Set designers don't just design scenery. They convince audiences that plywood is marble, foam is granite, muslin is brick, and a too-flat budget somehow became an entire world. Treat them with respect. Bring coffee. Never say simple. And if they ask for 1 more day, give them 2. Because nobody wins during Tech Week, but everybody can lose together. This has been a public service announcement from No More, 10 out of 12.
And now, back to Light Talk.
Very clever, very clever.
Ellen was in shock.
Yeah, she was in shock.
She was waiting for the punchline. It never came.
Never came.
That could go for anybody else on the team. There's got to be rules for talking to your sound designer, too.
Oh, absolutely. They have a Bible of rules.
This will be a series.
Okay. So Steve has the last question of the day. Go, Steve.
Okay. Ramon in LA writes, I am in community college and I want to be a lighting designer. But until I attend a 4-year school, theater classes are a little thin here. Any suggestions for a class that might help me in advancing my design ambitions? Okay, so you're at a community college, and I'll take you at your word that there are not a lot of design classes. I think if I were in your boat and I were doing this all over again, I think I would take a photography class. I think that teaches me about composition. It teaches me about light and shadow. I think if I was, I think of a good black and white photography class, and then if you have the interest, move on to color. And if you're trying to find a way to justify it, maybe this ability to use a camera and effectively use a camera might help you if you had a kind of a side interest in projection design. David, what's a good community college class for a lighting designer?
You asked the right person because I went to a community college for 2 years.
Okay, here we go.
All right. And
let's talk about academia for a while.
Here we go again.
Okay, but this is a great question because unfortunately, in my experience as a professor and teaching students who are first year and sophomore students, which are basically what you do in community college, I found that the type of education that they've gotten in, high school, and it just doesn't cut it. There's a lot of remedial education that has to be done. Now, this is what I would suggest you take. Art history, because you're going to learn about not only art history and art, but you're going to learn about style. And style is very important, okay? I would suggest you take at least one music class, either a music survey class or even a composition class. Learn how to read a score. Very, very important if you're a lighting designer. If you know how to read a score and follow a score, I mean, you don't have to know how to play a score. You need to know how to follow a score. As a matter of fact, during COVID, one of my colleagues and I put together an excellent video on following a score. And, I should put that up on our Light Talk page, and so that, our listeners can watch it because it's really good. But if you're in school, you might as well go to a class in it, right? Learn composers, music history, very important, very important. Dance history, very important, okay? These are all classes that will prepare you for when you transfer in as a junior in a very good university. So that is my suggestion.
Also, if Ramon is in LA, couldn't he go hang out at some little off Hollywood theaters? And there's a lot of theater stuff going on out there.
Oh, absolutely.
He's not in the wilderness.
Well,
Sure.
I'm assuming that's what he's doing already.
He should also take as many literature classes as he can.
Absolutely.
I just read a very interesting book for one of my book clubs. It's called Venetian Vespers by a writer called John Banville, who's a very prolific Irish writer who's 80. And this book is set sort of at the end of the 19th century in Venice. And the descriptions, because it's all, gaslight and dark and cold and the vapor rising off the Grand Canal. And I mean, it's really, you want to go design it. It's very, very descriptive. So literature, Ramon, take as much literature as you can.
Good advice, yeah.
Yeah, very good advice. All right. The rocking sounds of the Luminoids tell us that once again you've spent another morning listening to Light Talk. You can hear our show on just about every podcast site out there. Check out our website at lighttalk.org and our new Instagram site at Light Talk Podcast. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast. That way you will not miss a second of Light Talk Insanity.
No guarantee is offered regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on this podcast. However,
This is Snoot from the Snoot Group. You losers know the drill. Fuck with me, and I will make your lives a living hell.
Light Talk coming to you from the beautiful Belmont Shores neighborhood of Long Beach, California, the tropical paradise of St. Bart's, and of course, the Lone Star State.
Yeehaw! And be sure to join us next week when we dive into more lighting shenanigans and serve up a fresh, piping hot casserole of nonsense.
Light Talk, broadcasting questionable Lumen knowledge and humor around the world.
So we'll see you all next Wednesday morning. Bye-bye from Light Talk.
Bye now.
Bye.